record, my name is Daniel Toscano, attorney at law. I represent JW Capital Partners, Will Adams and John Moriarty. Unfortunately, they're not here tonight, and I'll explain why they're not here, but wanted me to come here, provide some information to you of what their proposal would be for Lewis Wharf. I'll start off by saying, because I see a lot of folks here that we have met with over the last several months, what we have been doing. The proposal, well, I'll just tell you a little bit about the proposal, and then we'll talk about some of the concerns the neighbors have. What you have before you is a proposal for the Lewis Wharf development. What you see, if you're familiar with the area, you look out on Lewis Wharf, you see two sets of pilings. You see pilings on the south side, you see pilings on the north side. The proposal is to develop two 55-foot buildings on that site. You see the pilings. One would be for 120, 130 room boutique hotel. The other side would be about 30 to 40 residential units. The height of the buildings do not include the approximately 12-foot elevator shaft, the air conditioning units, etc. And also, I believe because of the water table, the city allows you have to probably build up at an extra 2 feet. In the middle of the two buildings is approximately, it's a connector building. It's roughly, 30 feet high, and that probably houses a restaurant in our lobby area for the hotel and the residential area. One of the other significant parts of this particular proposal is to eliminate the parking that's above ground, as you see on Lewis Wharf, and put below grade parking, approximately 300 parking spots, and add a parking to that area. However, there will be access from Commercial Street into Lewis Wharf and down underneath. That, in a nutshell, without getting into a tremendous amount of detail, that is what the proposal of JW Capital Partners would love to see and love to have. However, over the last couple of months, we've been meeting with a tremendous amount of bodies, as you see the majority of them here, those at Commercial Wharf, those at the 63 Prince Building on Atlantic Ave, and those at Lewis Wharf. There is a lot of concern in regards to the views, the traffic, and whether this particular proposal is the best benefit for the community. With that said, rather than coming here to the neighborhood and saying, this is what we want, this is what we're presenting to the neighborhood, JW Capital wants to take some time, reevaluate this proposal, and come to the neighborhood, work with the community, work with the neighborhood to see what the best benefit for this particular site is. And when we get a definite plan as to what's going to be there, and I'm not saying that it's not going to be bad, maybe it'll be a miracle and the residents will support that, but that's certainly not being withdrawn. But as of right now, they're definitely going to reassess the project, taking into consideration all the concerns of all the abutters and residents. And at this point, I don't see much traction moving forward, but there are a lot of residents that have concerns, so we want to be able to work with them, continue to work with them. So with that said, I'm here to answer any questions, and I'll listen to any comments and take it back to JW Capital.
So this red area on the map, that's like a continuation of the Harbor Walk?
The red area is a continuation on the Harbor Walk. What you see on the sides is 12 feet, and where it's wider out towards the water, it's 35 feet, which is pretty identical to what you see at Battery Walk.
What's going to happen to the parking?
Parking, well, it's an interesting, I guess, issue with parking in the woods, right? So the Normandy rules of parking, everything will be put underground, whatever existing contract.
In the meantime.
Oh, if there's construction going on, if the park, of course they're going to be displaced for the short period, but. And I don't have the answer to that because, like I said, this plan is really not definite anymore, and we're going to be working with the neighborhood. But certainly, if this is JW Capital Partners will have to work with the neighborhood to determine the parking situation of any spots elsewhere, or why there's construction established, why there's construction phase. But I don't know how many residents at Lewis Wharf have actual contracts with the landowner for the nominee, but I don't know. I don't think it's, I think there's 155. They might be permanent for over, a little over 200. There might be 150 that are there. And I don't know how many are contracted with Lewis Wharf. I mean, that,
Any other questions, Jessica?
Yes, in this brochure, in the beginning, there are a number of historical photographs of the site, aerial views of the waterfront area with Lewis Wharf. Was De Normandy and Company, or the developers, interested in studying these photos to find some sort of compatibility with the development of this area over time, with historic buildings that date back to, correct me if I'm wrong, the 1840s, 1860s?
so, I mean, what I'm saying is what you see in some of those older pictures, I think 1928, see 1931.
Lewis Wharf itself is much older.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And they're probably, I think they're about 35 feet in height. I think what the problem is because DEP allows some public access, and what's public access is hotels, and they don't allow residential use on that particular property. I think JW Capital would love to put residential. I think if they were able to put residential on both sides, I believe the buildings could be a little lower. However, I don't think that's ever going to happen, and I don't think JW Capital believes it's ever going to be able to get done. So in order to comply with Chapter 91, the hotel allows the public access. But, so, like I said, we want to work with the neighborhood, work with the community. It might be the community may be able to get together along with not only the elected council, but the resident association, maybe the abutters all get together and say, hey, maybe at some point we know this may be developed. It may not, but it may be developed, and here's what we would like to see. So, and maybe that's something that, you know, we can work together with.
Any questions?
I have a question. Just to clarify, what you guys are doing right now, this is it's a proposed project. There's no plans. There's no. You haven't gone in front of the city. You haven't gone to the building department. You don't make any proposals. You are actually inquiring to the different parts of the community that will be affected on how to proceed.
And that's absolutely correct. But I'll just tell you, there has been meetings with DEP. There has been a meeting with DRA. DRA said, hey, go up to the community. But nothing has been filed. No plans have been filed with the city of Boston, the state, so nothing has been filed. But what we've been doing since, really when I got brought on, they hired me not to do the zoning, but really to work with the community as a liaison to the neighborhood. We've been reaching out to the community for the last 3 or 4 months, and we've heard all the concerns. We've heard the opposition, so with it, so that's why I stand here before you today saying, hey, this may not be the right project for that particular site, and so we want to be able to reassess and come back to the community and to the abutters with something that be the best benefit to the neighborhood.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? Before we open it up, any abutters here would like to speak?
I'm Doug Sheff, I'm at the Prince Building. We spoke briefly before you. Are you saying that if you have the sense that the overwhelming majority of our community is vehemently against this project, that you will withdraw the project?
Well, nothing's been filed, so to say withdraw, I mean, I think they probably would not go forward.
Understand.
I don't think my client wants to get into an 8-year litigation, you know.
8?
With,
You get very involved, it'll be 20. But the point is, a lot of people are very concerned and frightened, frankly, and they read your letter that says that you've done a poll to find out that there was overwhelming support. Maybe that was the feeling at that time, and maybe that, and I'm sure that comes from your client. I'm sure that they have resources to make that kind of determination. But it's raised the level of concern to a place you might not be sensitive to, and a lot of the folks. I'm sure you noticed just by walking in here. There's literature now, there's signs around the neighborhood, people walking around with signs. I invite everybody to sign the online petition that is now online. It's taking up a lot of time, energy, money, and anxiety. And the sooner that you could send out a message to this community respectfully that what you just said here, I think it was music to some of our ears, that, you know, you're not going to try and go against the wishes of the neighborhood, and why would you? The case law, the politics, the community, it won't happen, and you know that, we know that. So if you could get that from your principal, something more solid that we can sort of rest on, we can all move on from there. And like, I think you have three choices. Go head to head with the community, that's off the table. Sell it to somebody else who's going to do the same thing. The cat's out of the bag, that's not going to happen because they're going to be in the same shoes you are. And the third thing is to use it or sell it to somebody who's going to use it in accord with the desires and the character and the integrity and the history of this community, concerned with things like rats and pollution and ecology and traffic and all that stuff that's concerning people. And that's us. You're going to deal with us. So the respectful thing to do is to respect us by formally saying this project is off the table for now. We want what you just said, only a little bit more definite. I think it would put a lot of people at ease, and I think you'd have the respect, and maybe we'll all get together and buy it for a much smaller price.
I'll join you in buying.
But whatever it is, maybe there is an answer, maybe there isn't, but this isn't the answer. This big hotel, you're gonna build it on the moon faster than you build it on the moon.
Well, thank you. I know we've talked about it a number of times, so thank you for your comments, and that it was, you know, it's been great working with all the abutters. They've all been professional and respectful. No one's yelled at me too much.
You have to.
You know, but like I said, I will go back to my client tomorrow to report to them that what I've heard tonight. I mean, we discussed it before I came here, and I think that's why you see me here tonight saying, hey, we've heard your concerns. We get it, and we're going to, you know, reevaluate, reassess this project, and continue to work with the neighborhood if they're still interested. And then if there is something definite, which will hopefully be within the next few weeks, maybe the next month, we'll certainly let all the abutters know.
And we owe you a thanks, because now we know that we can work lockstep and arm up and down the north end and the waterfront, so that even if it doesn't affect you directly, you work with your community, and together we can stop anything on the waterfront. Apart, we're vulnerable. So this has been a wake-up call for our community, and we thank you.
That's all I have.
Any other butters on
Just living at 38 Charter Street. You're only going to build 30 to 50 permanent housing units, is that right?
That was the proposal.
So why would you have to build 200 parking?
Well, there's the hotel too. There's the hotel, there's parking, want to accommodate the parking of residents. I think part of the issue is, I guess there's some issues with Phil Normandy and Lewis Walk in the park, and I believe that part of it was to accommodate the parking on the ground, so keep what's there and then add more to accommodate the
How many
hotel.
parking lots do you have now?
Now, I believe there's, I think it's permitted for over 200, and once again, my client does not own this parking lot, or does not own the pilot, just means they're bringing the Phil Normandy to build on the pilot, so does not own it. My client owns the One Lewis Walk building, which is the 3-story building that's on Atlantic Ave, or commercial Atlantic Ave, so nothing is being done to that.
So let me ask you,
But-
if they're looking to replace the parking that they have with more parking?
Right, put it underground.
Underground?
Correct.
Okay, that's an issue? More parking?
If you have a hotel, if you have 200 rooms, potentially that's 200 spots, and then how do you, like, you only do 300, it still
There's
takes
200 rooms,
150.
200 rooms, most likely people are gonna be on vacation with no cars.
Potentially, but
Most hotels, no one's.
not always. I mean, the North End is incredibly busy now. Incredibly. You can't walk anywhere anymore.
To answer the question, I've been told by the parking lot manager, there are 233 spaces
Yeah, I
there.
didn't know how many.
200.
Yeah, I knew it was over 200 that was permitted. I don't know how many, you know, probably stuff's more in there, but that's not my client. He doesn't own or operate that one. But, I mean, that's all I have to report.
But it is the parking lot, what's the own exactly? What's the own?
One Lewis Walk.
Okay, one
3-story.
The 3-story building.
Correct.
The Normandy, what do they own?
He owns the parking lot, he owns the fire lanes, he owns the sail off land, and I think some of the slips, I don't know everything that he does on it. Yeah, so what happened was when JW Capital purchased the One Booth North property, they came to the attention that this might be an opportunity to build along the piling. Reaching an agreement with Phil Denomey to build on that pilings. Now, Phil has no, I guess no input as to what's going there, or, you know, it's JW's got to find it. Ultimately, he may have a percentage of it, but where we stand today is it may be all moved, so, you know.
Any other questions?
He also owns the,
Correct.
He doesn't own the pool.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Thank you, and thank you for being
Good evening.